As Christians, we have access to tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of books. Over the long, storied course of Christian history, all of these books have been written, and over time, some of them have been filtered. We know now these are the best of the Christian books, the best books ever written. I think a lot of us have a great desire to read those books, but find that practically our ability to read them isn't so good. We want to read them, but we don't have the self-discipline. We maybe don't have even the great desire to actually make it happen. I certainly found this was true in my life. I would look to some of my Christian heroes and the books that made them who they were, and I thought, I want to read that book. And I'd get a couple chapters in and just sort of forget about it and move on to other things. So I started a program called Reading Classics Together and put it out on the blog, invited other people, come read these books with me. That provides a kind of accountability. So we'll read these books together. It provides a bit of community. We can engage, we can talk about some of these things. Since that first one years ago, we've read all sorts of amazing Christian classics together. I think it's time to read a new one. I'm inviting you to read a Christian classic with me. Now here's the one we're going to be reading this time around. It's called Holy Helps for a Godly Life, written by the Puritan Richard Rogers. This is a new edition, a new book brought out by Reformation Heritage Books. Now, when you read Puritan books, you see something's often the case. They're often very, very large works that have then been distilled down to something a little bit easier to read. And that's the case with this. This was once a very, very long book. The editors have shortened it down, taken just one part of that book and turned it into this little booklet. They've also done some light editing to add some headings, to smooth out some of the language, and so on. So, Holy Helps for a Godly Life. It once had this amazing title, and Puritans loved their titles, their long titles. Let me tell you what the title was once upon a time. It was 7 treatises containing such direction as is gathered out of the Holy Scriptures, leading and guiding to true happiness both in this life and in the life to come, and may be called the practice of Christianity. Profitable for all such as heartily desire the same, in the which more particularly true Christians may learn how to lead a godly and comfortable life every day, notwithstanding their tribulations. All right, there's good reason it's been shortened down to Holy Helps for a Godly Life. Let me tell you a little bit about what it's about. Here's what the back cover says, so you can get a little overview of its contents. The Christian life can be daunting, especially in a world hostile to the ways of God. But the good news is that the God who calls us to be holy has also appointed helpful means so that we can grow in godliness. In Holy Helps for a Godly Life, Richard Rogers shows what the means of godliness are, he describes their nature, and he explains how they should be used. God has promised to give grace to those who use these means in a right and reverent way, and those who use these means in faith will discover their value for themselves. Okay, so this is a book about the means of grace. Means of grace, of course, those ways through which God grants grace to us, through the channels through which grace flows from God to his people. And this is universal. This is something we all need to hear. This is something we all need to hear again and again in the Christian life. And especially at a time when there's so many different ways being said, here's the path to holiness, here's the path to walking with God. Let's go back. Let's take a look at a book like this one that takes us back to those means of grace that God has clearly laid out in his word. Let's see how we can be instructed from a man who lived, who ministered so long ago. And something that's so important to understand is he's not just talking about holiness here, he's talking about holiness as the means to happiness. See, the point isn't just to do those things that God says, to just do them out of some cold obedience. The point is, as we obey God, as we take hold of these means of grace, we grow in happiness. We grow in joy. Obedience to God is the path to happiness. So as you read a book like this one, yes, you'll learn how to obey God. You'll learn how to take hold of those means that he gives us. And through it all, you'll learn how to live your life with joy. So here's how this will work. You can get a hold of a copy of this book. You can go to Amazon or Westminster Books. They've got lots of copies waiting for you. Westminster Books will have it in print. Amazon will have print and, of course, the Kindle edition. Buy yourself a copy of the book. Read the introductory matters. There's a couple little intro chapters. And then the first 3 chapters. That can sound daunting. They're short chapters. So by June 7th, get a hold of the book, read the introduction, and read the first 3 chapters. And then check back here. And I'll have some thoughts. I'll tell you what I've been learning. I'll leave comments open so you can talk. Let's just have a little engagement, how these holy helps for a godly life has been meaningful to us. So, hope you get a hold of a copy of the book. Hope you read it with me. Let's read this classic together.